Chapter 20. Qin Yi hugged Qin 11 tightly, and he was already in tears. Yangchen is a waste. You even believe his words. What gives you the whole world is bullshit. Zhou Yuqi did not have the slightest pain, and did not spare. We are all going to be expelled from the family. There is no place to live. He knows that if he stays in this family, he will not be able to catch anything, so like 5 years ago. He left in your most difficult time and will never come back. These words were like a thorn in Qin 11's heart. If we were really expelled from the family, there would be nothing. Xiao 11, listen to your mother's words. Now go to your grandfather, beg him to give you a chance. As long as you are not expelled from the family, promise him any conditions. You go quickly, go quickly. Zhou Yuqi was crying while pushing and shoving Qin 11. Qin 11's heart seemed to be torn to pieces, and he didn't want to die, and he looked at Zhou Yuqi with a look of despair. Good. I'll go and ask him to spare you, even if I want to die, and I will agree. She said and got up and rushed into the pouring rain. Sister, Qin Yi shouted and chased out. Qin Yi was just about to chase, but Zhou Yuqi grabbed his arm. This is the basket she poked out. Only if she goes to ask, the old man can let us go. Roll. Qin Yi struggled to break free of Zhou Yuqi's arm, and this was the first time she had said this to her mother. When she chased her out, where was Qin 11's shadow? Qin family manor. At the door of old Master Qin's residence, a slender shadow was kneeling there. The heavy rain had already turned her into a soup chicken. The biting cold wind was cold, and everything on her body was far from 1 in 10 million of the pain in her heart. Grandpa, please give me a chance. As long as you don't expel us from the family, I will listen to you. Qin 11 cried and said. His face was full of rain and tears mixed together. Kneeling for a long time in the cold wind and rain, the thin body was crumbling. If it were not for the strong will, I am afraid she would have fallen down long ago. Old Master Qin and Qin 11 were only separated by one door, but at the moment, his face was full of determination, and he was not even willing to respond. Next door to old Master Qin's house was Qin Fei's house, and there were a lot of Qin family concubines around him, all of whom were looking at him coldly at the moment. This woman is really persistent. In order to ask the old man for forgiveness, she actually knelt in the heavy rain for so long. She wasn't obsessed, she had to do it, and when she left the Qin family, she was nothing. It seems that the old master has made a real move this time, and wants to expel their family from the Qin family. At this moment, the door of old Master Qin's room suddenly opened, and then he saw the butler walk to the door, holding a document in his hand. Qin 11 also looked at the figure, and then heard the housekeeper read it according to the document, the family master's order no. 7. The company departments under the Qin family, after study and discussion at the family meeting, unanimously agreed to expel the Qin family from the Qin family, remove the name from the family tree, reclaim the Qin family's old residence, and issue this order. Thundered. Suddenly, several lightning bolts swept across the sky, as if they were about to tear the sky apart, and the rain fell more urgently. Qin 11, who had just held the last glimmer of hope, after hearing the order of the master of the house, his body stumbled and he was completely paralyzed. At this moment, a figure appeared beside her in an instant. The Lord's order. Grandpa actually issued an order from the head of the family to expel our family from the family. What the hell am I doing wrong? Do you want you to do this to me? What? After a brief sluggishness, Qin 11 cried hysterically. Yangchen, who appeared beside her, was full of strong killing intent, and for the first time since leaving the northern realm, he still had such a strong desire to kill a person. Brother Chen, I'm going to destroy the Qin family. Ma Chao also appeared behind Yang Chen, his face full of anger, and he stepped out and was about to rush into old Master Qin's residence. Stop. Yang Chen sighed angrily, and the rain slid down his hair to his forehead, and then to his bloodthirsty eyes, and he couldn't tell whether it was rain or tears. I want to see with my own eyes that the people of abandoned by the Qin family today will beg to go back tomorrow. Yang Chen's voice was extremely cold. At this time, Qin 11 was already paralyzed, and Yang Chen gently picked her up and disappeared into the heavy rain. Yang Chen's front foot just left. A black Audi A6 stopped in the Qin family compound, and then saw two middle-aged men with Yangchen Group work cards on their chests, hurriedly walking out of the car. Old man, it's not good. The people from Yangchen Group have come. A lawyer, a minister of legal affairs, one of them hurried into old Master Qin's residence to report. Hearing this, old Master Qin looked flustered and hurriedly got up. Invite people in. As soon as his voice dropped, the man had already arrived. Hello. Old Master Qin took the initiative to step forward and held out his hands with a flattering face. But the two had no intention of shaking hands at all. The middle-aged man with the minister's work card made a look, and the lawyer next to him took out a lawyer's letter and handed it to Mr. Qin. This is the lawyer's letter from Yangchen Group. Chairman Qin will compensate according to the contract as soon as possible, otherwise he will wait for the court, the Minister of Justice said with a cold face. At this time, the rest of the Qin family also arrived, and when they heard this, they all looked worried. Minister Wang, after we signed the contract, we haven't started to cooperate. How can we possibly breach the contract? Qin Fei asked boldly at this time. Shut up, old Master Qin shouted angrily at Qin Fei. Even if the Qin family did not default, in front of the Yangchen Group, they would have to admit it. Minister Wang did not intend to let Qin Fei go, and sneered, You think that the Yangchen Group is bullying you? Qin Fei was very depressed in his heart, gritted his teeth and said, Isn't it? Snap. Old Master Qin slapped Qin Fei's mouth with his backhand and angrily said, You shut me up. After getting angry, old Master Qin looked at Minister Wang and said, My grandson doesn't understand things, and I hope that Minister Wang won't bother with him. Forget it, let me tell you clearly, and you in the province will go out and talk nonsense. Minister Wang sneered, then took a contract handed over by the lawyer, opened one of the pages, and directly handed it to old Master Qin and said, Trouble Chairman Qin, read the last clause of the additional clause on this page. So that your Qin family can understand which one of you has defaulted. Although Mr. Qin was ready to be breached, he was still unwilling in his heart, and he quickly took over the contract, found the last piece of content, and read it out in public, after friendly consultation, during the contract period. Party B must designate Qin 11 as the sole person in charge of this cooperation. Reading this passage, everyone in the Qin family was sluggish. Old Master Qin was even more paralyzed, and sat down on the sofa. By the way, Mr. Luo asked me to tell old Master Qin a word, and if you do more injustice, you will kill yourself, Minister Wang said coldly. Chapter 21. It was not until this moment that old Master Qin understood why Luo Ben sent the contract on the front foot and the back foot informed them of the breach of contract. No one expected that in the content of the contract, there was even a provision designating Qin 11 as the person in charge. Minister Wang, you asked me to meet Luo Zone. I know it's wrong. As long as Luo Zone is willing to let the Qin family go, whatever he asks, I will agree. Doesn't he like Qin 11? I can be the master and let Qin 11 be his woman. After a brief pause, old Master Qin suddenly stepped forward and grabbed Minister Wang's arm, and his emotions were very excited. Shut up. Old Master Qin's words almost made Minister Wang pee, and he quickly scolded, You want to die? Don't bother me. Even if Luo Zone comes, he will scold you like this. He knew very well why Luo Ben did this to the Qin family. It was because of that man. Hearing the deep meaning in Minister Wang's words, the shock in old Master Qin's eyes was even stronger, and he said with a lost and depressed look, Is it said that it is the people of the Yuan family who have taken a fancy to Qin 11? Okay, I've said everything I need to say, so let's get down to business. Minister Wang did not dare to reveal more, and cleared his throat, because you have breached the contract, you have brought great losses to the Yangchen Group, and you are also facing huge compensation. Now I am talking about a compensation plan. You can consider whether you are willing to accept it. Say it. When it came to compensation, everyone in the Qin family was terrified. Some people have taken a fancy to the Sanhe group and entrusted us with the help of Luozong to take it down, and you also know that if the Yangchen group really wants to suppress it, the Qin family will have collapsed long ago, and now you only need to treat the Sanhe group as compensation. And the rest will be written off, Minister Wang said calmly. Can it really offset the compensation? Old Master Qin was overjoyed. If according to the contract, they want to compensate Yangchen Group for 1 billion, even if the entire Qin family is sold, it is not worth 1 billion, and the market value of Sanhe Group is 100 million. Of course it's true. Minister Wang snorted. If it weren't for the one behind Luozone, who was willing to let the Qin family have a way to live, wouldn't you be so cheap? Yes. We do. Old Master Qin laughed and said. I just thought that I would have to compensate according to the contract, and now although I have abandoned the Sanhe group, I have at least saved the Qin family. Besides, the Sanhe group had been snatched from Qin 11's hands, and even if it was smashed in the hand, it would not be painful. Old Master Qin was afraid that the Yangchen group would repent, so he immediately called a lawyer and handed over all the transfer procedures of the Sanhe group. On the other hand, Yangchen had already sent Qin 11 home, but he didn't know when. Qin 11 was already asleep in Yangchen's arms. What's wrong with my sister? Qin Yi saw that Qin 11 was being held, and her face was flustered. When she rushed to Qin's house before, Yangchen just took Qin 11 away. She was just too tired to fall asleep. Yangchen responded, put Qin 11 on the big bed in the bedroom, looked at Qin Yi and said, take care of her. After saying this, Yangchen turned and left. At this moment, Qin Yi had an illusion, and suddenly, Yangchen seemed to have changed into a person. Watching Yangchen leave, just when he was about to disappear from his sight, Qin Yi suddenly blurted out, brother-in-law. Hearing these two words, Yangchen trembled, and his feet couldn't help but stagnate, and then he heard Qin Yi's voice behind him, promise me, don't let my sister be hurt by half a point again. I believe that you can do it. Good. Yangchen responded with the word and stepped away. Looking at the back that gradually disappeared into the rain, Qin Yi felt unspeakably uncomfortable in his heart. She didn't know where Yangchen had gone, but she had a vague feeling that when she saw him again, it would shock everyone. The top floor of Yangchen Group. Chairman, just came the news that Sanhe Group has arrived. Luo Bin reported carefully. Yangchen was not surprised, and suddenly asked, where is the best diamond ring in Zhangzhou? At 8 o'clock tonight, at the Night City Club, there is an auction. There is a batch of rare jewelry to be auctioned. The finale is a diamond ring, called the Pink Star. Many Zhangzhou noble women are going to this diamond ring, Luo Bin said hurriedly. Okay, come with me at night, Yangchen said. Luo Bin was suddenly overjoyed, and quickly agreed that Yangchen would take him to the auction, which meant that he regarded him as his own. Towards 8 o'clock, a black Maybach slowly stopped in front of the Night City Club.